Hey guys, this is Toni from Toni Music, and I thought I'd introduce you to a new format that I'm going to do on my channel once or twice, like whenever I'm feeling like I need to talk about something, which I would probably call Toni Talks, which is kind of generic as it can get, right? So I would try to keep this as uncut as possible, and that is kind of hard for me because I'm kind of anxious with talking in English all the time. It's not my native language, and I'm kind of a thoughtful person, thinking about a lot of stuff, which I usually shouldn't think about. But I just like that you don't know how many retakes I usually take when doing one of my videos. But I think it will improve over time. Anyway, I decided to switch the location a bit. Instead of recording this in my workplace, I decided I wanted to have a bit comfortable and cozy, and I switched over to my living room and sat on the couch, and we have a little talk to you, about 5 to 10 minutes or something like that, and inform you about a thing that I found out about my workflow, about my creative work process that basically inspired me to create something really, really awesome, at least in my mind, that really improves my workflow. It does. And if you follow me on Twitter, which you should really do if you're all in the Twitter game, you can basically do that by, checking out the link in the description. Or if you're following my Twitch channel, which I do occasionally streams, basically trying to orchestrate stuff, but seriously, I'm not really good at it yet, but I'm doing my best. I'm trying my best. And I'm doing that live so that you can follow along. If you're doing one of both, then you basically might already know that I did quite a bit of stuff during those last weeks. And everything started with me basically noticing one thing. Whenever I've got an idea and I want to basically just throw it down and have something that I can experiment with and hum along, and that's basically one of the processes that I really got into ideas. I basically, if I have an idea, I basically start to hum along, and usually what my brain does, it automatically tries to invent something along this melody. Like it tries to create a counterpoint melody. It tries to layer something a step below, a step above the melody, something usable that I can apply to the melody to make it a bit bigger, to basically start orchestrating. Just the only thing that I need to do then is apply an instrument to the thing and be not finished. But at least I'm basically a step further ahead. And I noticed that one thing that really, really messes me up is when I have a musical melody or music idea in mind, to do something totally different, which doesn't have anything to do with the melody. As soon as I do something different, the melody basically gets erased, gets overwritten, gets from my mind. It's basically gone. And getting that back is more or less impossible. That's why I started taking voice memos about a year ago, which is a trick that I can just recommend to you. If you are doing things like me, then seriously take voice memos. Whenever you have an idea in mind, do a voice memo. Take a voice memo. If you have an Apple Watch, that's really easy. Just press record. Seriously, just press record basically on your Apple Watch, and the sound quality is so great, and you basically have your Apple Watch with you all the time. If you don't have an Apple Watch, just stick with your iPhone or Android or whatever it is. You will most definitely find a voice memo app or something like that to follow you wherever you go. Just so that you can actually take, if you've got music ideas or whatever, just hum it in or sing it in or whatever, so they can actually listen back and maybe understand what your idea was, so that you can actually improve and improvise something out of it. So anyway, what I noticed was that this really distracts me. Doing something totally different distracts me. And the thing that I always need to do whenever I've got an idea is find an instrument to actually play this melody in. And I've not talked about this very much on this channel. I would come to this. Creating videos is a time-consuming process, and I'm a full-time worker, and seriously, I don't have much time, but I'm doing my best. And I will come to the point where I will start reviewing sample libraries and complete control stuff. And complete control is awesome. It has its flaws, I will talk about that later as well. But it got this really awesome browser where you can basically just scroll through all day and hear so many amazing sounds, especially if you've got like things like Complete Control, Ultimate, Collector's Edition or something like that. And then additional libraries like picked up a bundle here and a bundle there and everything. Then you've got so many instruments to experiment with. Seriously, so many. It will basically, you can do this for weeks and maybe months and you won't get through your entire library. And you will get inspiration from that a lot, too much for my taste. Because, as soon as I hit another instrument, which really, really is amazing, the other idea will be gone. So the problem that I usually have when I have an idea, I want to lay this down, and while searching for an instrument to actually do that, I basically override it and erase it from my mind. And then it's gone, and that's it. Even with the most memo, it's hard to concentrate if you just have to figure out an instrument. And things get worse as soon as I've got the idea laid down and I want to improvise on that with a different instrument, how orchestration works. If you want more about this, just follow the channel and follow me on Twitch and whatever. I will probably do videos on that at some point. Or watch other great channels like Christopher C.U., Ryan Leach, all those great channels, which I probably have to recommend at some point because they are teaching me so much stuff about all this. As soon as I want to do that and get another instrument, the complete control cycle starts all new. I basically got rid of everything that I had in my mind before finding a new instrument. And I want to change this. I'm in this state already where I have the orchestra in my mind, and if I've got an idea, I usually know where I want to go. If it's a woodwind, brass, or strings that I want to get, which one, sometimes as well. And I really want to have quick access to them without having to pull my keyboard in front of me, turn around, have to cycle through the different menus and all that. And I really want to have quick access to all this. And plus, when you're really orchestrating with orchestral instruments, we have so many articulations, right? You have so many articulations. We have so many legato styles, which are sometimes triggered by CC events, which are sometimes triggered by velocity sensitive differences, by mod wheel, by whatever. There are so many options, and each library and each developer does it differently. Keeping track of that and not forgetting about that is really, really hard, isn't it? So I want to have a comprehensive guide where I can write all of this down. I want to have quick access to everything. And I want to have them all of them be mapped to the same layout as best as possible to actually simplify the process for me and prevent it from getting too complicated and on and all of this. I want to have all of that, right? And I want it to be as easily accessible without thinking or reducing the thought process behind it as much as possible so that I can actually concentrate and not forget the idea that I just had. I want it to be as accessible, and the patches and everything is to be as similar as possible, although the patches being from different developers. And I thought I would have to do something really time-consuming. But this would be the only way to do this, I think. And I started creating REAPER track templates for all the different orchestral libraries that I have, for all the different instruments in sections, every segment on a separate template, so they can load entire sections. If I already know that I want to orchestrate something for an entire string section, then I can pull in the entire string section of Tokyo scoring strings or Spitfire BBC Symphony Orchestra or Cinestrings or whatever. Or if I just know that I want to have a solo violin or maybe a violin ensemble or something like that, I can just pull that in and be done with it and just start composing, right? And I want to do this without having to go through complete control all the time, because that really distracts me. So I did that. I started doing that. And that's the thing that I posted on Twitter like last week. And the thing is, it really is time consuming for me, but I can't do this alone. I need sighted help to do this, because I want to have like the key switches to be laid out as similarly between all the patches as possible. And they usually are not quite similar between the different developers and everything. And I need sighted help to actually relocate them, because there's this contact interface and or other libraries actually, if Spitfire is doing the dedicated plugin stuff, and it's not accessible. So I always need to get sighted help to actually do this for me. This just takes a lot of time. I basically just finished the entire Cine samples, raw stuff libraries. I've got Cinebrass, Cinestrings, Cinewinds, and Cineperk templates, which are great, because I just finished a quick sketch yesterday evening where it was just 2 bars and it was a stinger, but I did something for the channel, and you will be getting to hear this, and I will probably lay it to you what I did and how I did this at some point. But I was really, really enjoying this, and at the end of the day, like 2 hours later, I was like, I have something that I can actually be proud of. It's just 2 bars, but I finished something. I finished a piece, and I've never yet finished a orchestra piece, really. I have 3 pieces that I finished, but I had to finish them because I created them for someone else, not for me. That's basically the first, although a really, really short and small piece that I just finished for myself. And that's awesome. I like this. I just have to go through the mixing and mastering process. Anyway, so that's what I did. And it took me roughly, for all 4 of them, roughly 2 to 3 hours per track template, which is kind of a lot. And it's not the most that we can actually have. Like, as soon as I start doing something like the really, really complex things, I already found a situation where I ended up in a position where the Reaper functionalities are probably not enough to actually do what I want them to do. I already asked people who are more familiar with Reaper and everything if it can think of a solution to my problem, or if we can like contact Cocos about this so that they can maybe build something in which helps me do things about things. And I'll probably talk about this in the video as well. But anyway, so that's what I did, and it just took me a lot of time, basically. But I now I can really pull in those patches and just start playing, and that's awesome because it doesn't distract me anymore, and that's awesome. And I thought maybe there are some other people out there who are thinking the same way, who really just want something without having to switch between keyboard and keyboard, the instrument and the keyboard, mouse keyboard thing. If you're not working from the complete control keyboard all the time, for example, and you basically are working via the music keyboard, because I am not a great piano keyboard player. I played it once like 10 years ago, and then I forgot most of the stuff, and a bit of stuff is still muscle memory, is still working, but it's not comfortable to me. So usually I'm composing via keyboard, via the computer keyboard, that is. I usually lay down 1 or 2 melodies with MIDI recording, and after that I'm basically doing everything with the keyboard only. And I don't want to switch around to my complete control all the time. And I thought maybe there are other people who think the same way, and they want access to those templates as well, because they are orchestrating as well, and they really want to speed up the workflow, or they just want to have access to those patches which really contain everything, including the things that are different from developer, from library to library, from sample library to library, from developer to developer, like legato media playback offsets. Some things like Tokyo scoring strings, which have this really amazing look-ahead mode where you can play whatever you want to play, and then you have like a 1-second look-ahead mode where they analyze everything you do, and then they create a really smooth and realistic sequence out of this. But you have maybe basically a 1-second offset, which, if you know about this, you can just configure it within the track settings. But basically, you don't need this all the time. And then there are other libraries which have a delay by default. And there are libraries which don't have a delay, except if you switch it to legato mode, in which case they introduce a 150 milliseconds delay and all of that. That's knowledge that you probably don't have in your mind all the time, because it's different from library to library. And I just want to write this down right on the track, so that if you import a track and you know that this is the instrument that you want to work with, you can just open the notes to the track, and then you see, oh, okay, if you want to play legato, you basically have to apply a media playback offset of minus 150 or something like that. And then you do that, and you're good to go, and you're basically set up, and you can start writing music. And that's something that Complete Control cannot give me. It doesn't have notes, and I basically have to take them separately all the time, and I just want to put them directly into the track templates. I also want to have note names within the media editor for key switches, for example, so that I don't have to mess around and search which key switch does what and everything. I want to have them named in Reaper, and that's possible. And I do this for all my track templates. And I thought maybe other people are interested in this as well. But now we come to the situation where, doing one template once a week or once every week or so is not a problem. But I have so many libraries. There are so many more libraries out there, and I would probably have to do a lot of them, and it would cost me hundreds of hours, I guess. And that's a work that I can share. I'm definitely a person of open source. I am a developer for work and for fun sake and everything with all of my heart. I am an open source nerd. I basically do everything, more or less every project that I can put out there, I basically do for free, and you can just go ahead and grab it. But this is really driving me crazy and taking up a lot of time. And I thought about, what do you think? Would you, the person who basically thinks that this is a nice idea and would probably complement their workflow as well, would you be willing to actually do something like go the extra mile and donate something like this? I thought about doing this like a donationware thing, where I say, you can donate basically whatever you want, like $8, $5, whatever you think this is worth to you. And if you did that, you can have access to everything, not just the stuff that is out now, but everything I would do in the future as well. Like donate once and you're good to go. Or I could introduce a Patreon kind of thing where you pay a monthly fee, like $2 a month or something like that. And as long as you're a patron, you could get access to everything I do about this all the time. Or, I could just offer it as a one-time payment thing where you could really just purchase it or something like that. Or I could just, make it open source and put it out there just for fun sakes and give it to you all for free. But it's just a lot of stuff to do. And I'm really, really unsure about this because I want to give it to you. It's too much work to just keep it for me. And whenever someone asks, I'm like, yeah, I have this, but seriously, no, it took me so much time. I won't give it to you. You have to do this yourself. That's just, no. That's not how I usually do things. So I definitely want to give this to you. And I can also split this up and do the more easier things, which I can basically do alone on my own because they are really, really easy to do. Like the Project Samsung Phobia stuff. I think there are no key switches. I'm not entirely sure, but I think there are so many patches, but all of them don't have key switches, I think. So the only thing that needs to be done is load them in Complete Control and just put them on separate tracks and export the tracks as track templates. That's time consuming, but it's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of complex works and silent help and everything. There's not a second person involved. I could give those out for free, but the ones that are really complicated and basically the CinePerk and CineBrass and CineWind, the CineSampled stuff basically had all the mixers disabled within the Complete Control patches. And there was no way accessibly to enable them. The only thing that you could do was have a sighted person come in and click all the mixes on every single patch. And there are a lot of them, like 44 patches for CineBrass only, for example. CinePerk got about 160 or something like that. So there was a sighted person basically clicking 300 times all the mixes and changing all the key switches around. And there were patches where key switching was really, really complicated, like the ethnic phrases and ethnic instruments within CineWinds Pro. So this really took a lot of time, and not just my time. And I want to give this to you but I feel like I cannot really give them out for free because it was too much work to actually do this. And I'm feeling like Jason from Freelance Sound Labs must feel, because he's basically doing the same thing for not orchestra but synthetic stuff. And I want to give this to you, and I just wanted to ask you for your opinion. What do you think? I mean, most likely you would want to have this for free, right? But what would be which model would be your preferred way to doing this? Would you basically opt for the one-time donation thing where you can decide how much you want to donate? Do you either opt for the Patreon way, where you basically have a monthly fee, not a lot, really, just $2 or $3 or something a month, maybe $5, but that's the top end basically. And for that, by paying that, you basically get access to everything I have and access to everything I will do in the future. Or a one-time purchase where you get access to everything I will do in the future as well, but it's a fixed amount of money that you have to pay instead of having a open donation. What would be something totally different that I'm not thinking about right now? What would be your idea? What your way of doing things? Let me know in the comment section below. In case you didn't know me yet, my name is Toni Bart. I am trying to find my way through orchestrating, like re-instruments, re-orchestra, and re-orchestra. And I'm basically doing this by being blind in an accessible way, by watching a lot of videos, trying to teach music theory to myself without having to go to a conservatory or something like that, by watching a lot of online courses, by experimenting myself, and everything while basically working at a full-time job. This is kind of time-consuming and a lot of fun. And I basically want to have you follow along and learn from the stuff that I've learned. Because maybe you're interested in how I'm doing things, and maybe you're interested in how I can help you understand things easier and faster than me. And that's why you're probably here, why you're actually listening to this. So feel free to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment responding to the questions and the ideas I just talked to you about in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitch, where we occasionally stream like live orchestration stuff or just chatting and everything. Follow me on Twitter, where I sometimes discuss the things that I'm doing right now, composing stuff, creating Reaper track templates, all those kind of neat things. And thank you for being a subscriber, and thank you for watching this video. And until next time, bye-bye.